Okay, so Julen Lopetegui, what's he got to do to win the West Ham fans around? In yesterday's video, I tried to indicate what I thought would be the case, which was he is going to be aware of this stuff. He's going to be aware of the negativity surrounding his appointment. Even David Moyes, actually, was aware of all of the petition and all that stuff. David Moyes was fully aware of it, even though he is someone that would have you believe that he doesn't go on social media, that he has nothing to do with any of it, that it's all distant noise, background noise that he knows nothing about. I can assure you he does. He knew all about it. His friends in the media were telling him. It was how he knows fully what's going on. It's how he was able to get that messaging out about a week or two ago when we had all the whole "Be careful what you wish for" brigade. Make no mistake about it. David Sullivan himself will know that there's been a backlash from the fans. He will know that this has got to work out. But most importantly, Lopetegui is going to know that he's going to have to make an impression at West Ham. Now, it really depends on how much attention he has been paying, how wedded he is to his style, because he's going to need to show a little bit of flexibility here. And there are a number of things he can do to immediately win the West Ham fans over. So, I've never said this. 10 things that Julen Lopetegui can do to succeed at West Ham. I'm not going to give you 10, I'm just going to make it up as I go along. But I was having a little think about it. I think the first thing he wants to do is he needs to put to bed these rumours that he is not going to be working alongside Tim Steidten. Now, I don't know whether that's the pair of them sat together in a press conference. Don't even need to necessarily do that. Sometimes just being pictured alongside each other will be good enough. But certainly get those stories coming out that actually he is going to work with the players that Tim Steidten's identified. They're going to be working closely together. But it has to be put out there that Tim Steidten's, I feel, is in charge of transfers. Because we heard all that guff before that David Moyes and Tim Steidten were working hand in hand. Actually, do you know what? By the time you've heard the sound bites and all the press stuff, you realise it's an utter load of crap when you get to January. And Tim Steidten doesn't get his winger, but David Moyes gets to bring in Calvin Phillips. You can only keep the BS going for so long, can't you? You eventually see through it. So I think you've got to get that messaging out there. That's really, really important. That Tim Steidten is in charge of transfers, and you want to see a good camaraderie between Lopetegui and Steidten. Also, it'd be pretty damn good to hear that Steidten had some role in his appointment. I think that would help, because at the moment, we're all thinking Sullivan hired him because of Will Salthouse. That's what we're thinking. There you go. You probably need to head that one off at the pass. For that to happen and for Steidten to back it up, Steidten's going to have to be honest to his word there, and we're going to have to believe that he has some integrity. I think he probably does. I don't think he's going to stand there and lie for Sullivan. So if he tells us he's heavily involved in this, then I guess he's heavily involved in it. The very next thing that we've got to do, that Lopetegui's got to do with that, and that is one of the earliest things he can do is bring a youngster through immediately. Immediately. I don't care who it is, be it George Earthy, Ollie Scarles, whoever. Lewis Orford, bring him through immediately. Show your intention, because what you'll do straight away is you will erase that concern that so many of us have that the academy is going to suffer. Look, I want him to bring lots through, but I'm talking as a strategy for him to allow himself a bit of breathing space to get on at West Ham. Do that. Bring someone through. Put him in the team. Don't even have to play every single game, but show that you're doing it. Someone from that academy. Ideally someone that won the Youth Cup last year. I don't know, Callum Marshall, whatever. Whoever it might be. Earthy would be the clever one and the smart one. Going on what I understand from the style of play, apparently, I don't know how true this is. I'm going to go and explore it more in the next few days. Three sort of attacking midfielders, or midfielders are comfortable on the ball or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I've got that wrong. I don't know. 2 holding midfielders that are comfortable on the ball, and an attacking midfielder, and then 3 forwards ahead of it. Whatever it is. If you want people that are comfortable on the ball, then Earthy's your guy. There's a lot of goodwill to him. Number 1, he's skillful and he's talented enough anyway. Number 2, because of what happened with the concussion, there's a lot of goodwill to him. Bring him through. Immediately, that is going to let West Ham fans warm towards you. By doing that, you allow yourself some breathing space to implement your own ideas. Secondly, get Noble involved. Thirdly, really, get Noble involved. But it's sort of, it factors in with the George Earthy stuff or the Lewis Orford stuff, doesn't it? Mark Noble has been mandated with creating a pathway from the academy to the first team. It's been a non-job so far, hasn't it? Let's be honest, and I don't mean that to be nasty to Mark Noble. It wouldn't even matter. If last season, this season, whatever, if Mark Noble's role at West Ham didn't exist, it would have made no difference at all. None. He might as well not be there. So let's put Mark Noble in a position where he's actually worth something, and because of that, you're going to need to have that integration between the first team and the youth team. I mean, a big part of that, and I hope maybe a manager coming in can help sort that out. But that's going to be a really important part, making people feel important around you. He's got his favoured staff. One of his staff members was coach at West Ham Ladies, so hopefully he's going to know a little bit about the club. But from what I understand, Lopetegui has been doing his due diligence on West Ham for quite some time now. That's why he provided a presentation and he provided a report. I think the second thing that he's got to do, I don't know how much this is to fans or himself or however this, but it's just something he probably needs to do. He's going to need to push something forward with that training ground. And that is to get the under-21s or development squad training in the same complex as the first team. West Ham at the moment have got 3 training grounds. It's a farce. I mean, do you know what? It's actually quite symbolic and quite indicative of the muddled and compartmentalised way that the club is run. Actually, 3 separate training grounds sums up West Ham, doesn't it? You know, we're all over the place. If he can walk in as an experienced manager that's been at Real Madrid, that's been at Sevilla, that's done the Spanish national stuff. I wonder if he comes in and says, "What are you guys doing? This is madness. This is madness." That doesn't help. It's a real hindrance to the youth team. So he needs to sort that out. That's going to really, really help. And I think the final thing is the style of football. Let me change that slightly. The effectiveness of the football. Because nobody was complaining at Moyes' style of football when we beat Brighton 3-1 earlier this season. You know, we were laughing about it. People were saying we shithoused the game. But we were laughing about it. We were just defended, bang, hit them on the break. It's not so much the style of football, it's the effectiveness of it. So, as I understand it, Lopetegui's got this possession-based game where the mantra of it pretty much says, if we've got the ball, the opposition don't have the ball and can't score. That's a simplistic version, I'm sure. Maybe some would suggest possession for possession's sake. It's not my preferred style of football. I'm not saying this just because now anyone who's been watching Hammers Chat for years. I used to hate the old Barcelona teams and stuff like that. I didn't even particularly like when Man City spend too much time knocking it around. It's not for me, I've got to say. But I'm quite sure if it yields results, I'll grow to love it. Because results are bloody important. And it's not good. It's not good getting humiliated. I was watching Gio's video the other day, and it was after we've lost 5-0 to Chelsea. And Gio said, because we record our reviews at the same time, we don't know what each other was saying, and I had to laugh and watch it later on that night. I had to laugh what Gio was saying, because he was basically saying I wasn't even that bothered about this game because he thought the season was over. But the more of a thrashing we got, the more annoyed he got. We're all like it, aren't we? I was exactly the same. It hurts to get humbled. You know, it really does, and humiliated. If he can take that away and stop us being humiliated and have us operating up not just the top half of the Premier League, but trouble in that top 7 or 8, then that would be good. If he can do that, then I think he can win the fans over. I really do. And just finally, I think it's probably quite important for him to see himself separated from Sullivan, because everyone just thinks the worst. If he can attach himself more to Steiten and Noble and be seen as their man rather than Sullivan's man, then he's going to do himself a huge favour. I would imagine in the build-up to all this, I'm surprised he's accepted the job. I really am. As I said in yesterday's video, I think it takes quite a thick skin to know you're not wanted at a club, but to go there anyway. So he's going to know. He's going to be determined to prove West Ham fans wrong. He's going to want to say, you got me wrong. You think I play crap football? You think I don't promote youngsters? I'm going to show you. I would expect him to do that. Not because I know anything of the man, not because I know anything about his coaching, but because that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I would look at it. I'd look at these people that didn't want me. I would look at their perceived flaws in me, their criticisms, what they expect me to do, and I'll prove them wrong. Would I sacrifice all my principles to do it? No. But I think there's a smart way of doing it. And I've just mentioned what they are. Fill your team with youngsters? No, I don't think you've got to do that. Put one in there. Have another couple on the bench. Play it smart. Be aware. David Moyes got a reputation for reacting very late with tactical substitutions and stuff like that. Just be aware of what your predecessor has done wrong and try not to mirror what the criticisms are of him. And very, very, very quickly, I think, that Spanish David Moyes thing just dissipates and goes away. This is what I expect to see. Because if you don't see that, and what you see is this guy rock up to exactly what David Moyes has done, look like he's going to be David Sullivan's right-hand man, it will last 2 minutes. It will end in tears. And I don't know anything about Lopetegui, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to expect him to be a fool. I'm going to expect him to be intelligent. Because you got to think the best of people, right? And if he is, he'll have read the room. There are a lot of people at West Ham that don't read the room. A lot of people in that boardroom, a lot of people up top who don't read the room. But just because they don't get it doesn't mean that the man coming in won't understand exactly what he's got to do to thrive at West Ham.